Live, local, and talking about the teams that matter to you. This is Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Brought to you by McMahon's Best One Tire and Auto Care.
Good morning and welcome to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One, along with producer, co-host extraordinaire, Mr. D.C. Hendricks. I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in as we're talking local sports of all sorts until the top of the hour, 10 o'clock this morning, and then we'll give way to Fighting Irish Preview with the Judge Phil Houck and America's foremost authority on Notre Dame Fighting Irish football, Tim Priester, as the Irish have a noon date with the Naval Academy today. So a lot of insight there. But we got a lot going on this morning, not the least of which is week one or round one of high school football sectionals for 4 of the 6 classes. And when we have something like that, well, we just go to the Talkin Sports phone line powered by Fire, Police, City, County, Federal Credit Union, because on that Talkin Sports phone line is Mr. Justin Kenny from OPS and OutsideTheHuddle.net. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning, fellas.
How are we this morning?
Oh, another day full of OPS football action, so early start, but happy to wake up with you guys.
Oh, well, as always with us, too, of course. A lot of interesting matchups last night in high school football. And, of course, as I said, obviously 6A and 5A did not participate last evening. They will be in action next week. But let's just go, let's just talk about Class 4A Sectional 19. And, my goodness, we had a collision course that brought itself to fruition with East Noble and Leo. Leo a 37-6 winner over DeKalb, and then East Noble 45-7 over Southside. And right there, I mean, that's going to be another one for the ages here.
Yeah, setting up another phenomenal matchup in the postseason between these two rivals. And it was business as usual for both teams yesterday. Leo dominated Rashad Martin, a couple touchdown runs. Brock Schott a touchdown run. Landon Hepner. So Leo rolled for the second straight week over DeKalb, and then Southside hung around for a little bit. It was only 14-0 at the end of the first quarter, but Southside really couldn't do anything offensively, held to just 5 first downs for the game. Dylan Krell, 164 yards, 3 touchdowns for the Knights, and sets up, like you said, another big showdown between these two teams. Leo has wanted this game since it dropped the regular season matchup, and now gets it. And we'll see the second time around if the Leo Lions have what it takes to win this one, and it will be at Leo next Friday night.
Yes, and so we're going to see what happens in round 2 of this NE8 rivalry. Bottom part of that bracket, some think a surprise. Bishop DeWanger 38-0 over Columbia City, taking advantage of big opportunities with turnovers by the Eagles.
Yeah, I think this was the surprise score of last night. Not necessarily that Bishop DeWanger won, but the manner in which they won, 38-0. It's the first time since that Columbia City has been shut out in the postseason since 2015. And it was 2 early fumbles by Columbia City that DeWanger was able to capitalize on and really set the tone for this game. I mean, after the first 5 minutes, effectively this game was over. Columbia City could do nothing offensively. Bishop DeWanger's defense was incredible last night, and the running game was there. If you cannot stop Bishop DeWanger's running attack and force sophomore Nick O'Keefe to go to the air, you're going to have a hard time to beat Bishop DeWanger. And I think this was another really proof to show that the SAC, the majority of which of the SAC, is just more powerful. I mean, you look at what Columbia City was able to do. They knock off Leo in Week 8. They only have 1 loss. At East Noble, Bishop DeWanger comes in at under 500. but playing teams like Brownsburg, playing teams like Moeller, this is exactly why playing in the non-conference is so good, because Jason Garrett can say we're not going to play any two teams that are better than Brownsburg and Moeller all season. And then especially once you get into 4A, and it paid off because Dwenger dominated this game last night.
And, of course, the Bishop Dwenger Saints will face the Wayne Generals by virtue of their 36-7 victory over the New Haven Bulldogs. Did Dwenger and Wayne play this year?
Did Dwenger and Wayne play this year? They did not, actually. So,
okay, that was the one game then.
Yeah, that was one. They play 3 cross-division games in the SAC, and Wayne Dwenger did not happen. So I think this is going to be an interesting one. Look at what Wayne was able to accomplish last night, and really dominant performance drive where they were up 36-0 at halftime, running clock in the second half. Wayne rushed for 360 yards. They were able to rest Kamar Nelson, didn't really need him last night. So Harold Mack with 3 rushing touchdowns. And so really impressive performance out of Wayne. I mean, New Haven just kind of ran out of gas at the end of the season, and it really showed in this game too. So sets up that Dwenger-Wayne game, the winner of which will face the winner of East Noble-Leo. So sectional 19 really, really capturing our attention from the jump, and it'll continue into next week.
Yes, indeed. Now moving on to sectional 20, regarding area teams, really only one in the area that we talk about out of the Big Four conferences, the Huntington North Vikings, and oh my goodness, did they put one on Frankfort last night, 77-8.
Most points scored in a game in Huntington North football history, going back to, I think, 1979, I want to say, was the first year for Huntington North as a consolidated school, and just a dominant performance. Frankfort comes in, was winless. You expected a win for Huntington North last night, but in the manner that we saw it was very impressive. Now, Huntington North's a team to watch. Now they get Marion at home next week. Marion has a bye. Mm-hmm. You have Logansport and Lebanon on the bottom half of that bracket that'll play. Conceivably, could we have an 8-win Huntington North team playing for a sectional championship in a couple weeks? I think it's entirely possible because they get that game at home. Huntington North is really solid at home. Has only lost to East Noble at their stadium, and that was a really toughly contested game. I don't think people give credit to Huntington North and how they played in that Week 3 game. So keep an eye on the Vikings. They could continue to make some noise in sectional 20.
Yes, and what a difference a year makes there.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness. And you mentioned Logansport and Lebanon facing off next week in the lower part of that bracket. Logansport 9-1, Lebanon 8-2. Now moving over to Class 3A sectional 26. Our Midwest Box Breaks game of the week last night had the Garrett Railroaders over Lakeland 50-26. And Garrett just doing what Garrett does to remain unbeaten at 10-0 this season, and getting ready to face Tip Valley.
Yeah, this was a game that Lakeland came out, unlike the first time around, and scored early, had the lead at one point, and you felt, okay, this could be a back-and-forth game, and then Garrett just blitzed them in the second half, or second quarter, rather. It was just a dominant performance out of Garrett in the second quarter. They were able to create some turnovers. They were able to get some long touchdowns and really instilled their will. So now Garrett moves on, and they'll have to go and face a Tippecanoe Valley team on the road that really was able to handle Woodland, doubled up Woodland 51-25. So that's a challenging game on the road. It's going to continue to get harder, but Garrett, first step done. They take care of their NECC rival last night.
And then the lower part of the bracket had West Noble over Angola 42-14, and Concordia ends their season with a 48-34 loss to Fairfield. West Noble 9-1 now will take on Fairfield next week. But, I mean, not looking ahead, but looking ahead, could this set up that rematch between West Noble and Garrett in a couple of weeks?
Potentially could. I wouldn't overlook that Tippecanoe Valley team like we mentioned. West Noble has a favorable matchup against Fairfield. That was a back-and-forth game. Concordia had the lead at a couple times in that game before Fairfield was able to pull away. First time that Fairfield has beaten an SAC opponent since knocking off Harding in 2007, I believe, in the playoffs. And yeah, it potentially sets up that West Noble-Garrett game in a couple weeks. And the big difference in that regular season matchup was the fact that West Noble, which is so adept at running the football, rushed for 227 yards last night, was shut down by Garrett and made them one-dimensional. And if Seth Pruitt and company can't run the football, there's not a high chance of success for West Noble. So the Chargers will have a favorable home game against Fairfield next week, but they are definitely going to have to be ready in a couple weeks if they do see the Railroaders again.
Staying in Class 3A with sectional 28, top part of the bracket, had the Bishop Lures get back on the winning track with a 42-7 victory over Norwell, and that means that Lures, now 6-4 on the season, will take on Jay County, who beat Belmont 42-7 last night. Jay County 3-7 coming out of the coming out of the
ACAC.
No.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Anyway, Lure 6-4, Jay County 3-7.
Yeah, and we saw last night with Bishop Lures a 3-game losing streak coming in, including that loss to Southside in Week 8. But you get into 3A, and they are up, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them from 2A. But it was still just a dominant performance by Bishop Lures, playing teams that are like-sized than them, right? And they go to Jay County. It's a favorable matchup for them. But, the bottom half of that bracket, that's when it's really going to start getting real for Bishop Lures.
Yes, indeed. Now, the lower part of the bracket, as much as the Bishop Dwangers shutout of Columbia City was a surprise last night, this score was as well. Delta over Heritage 54-14. Delta now evens their season record at 5-5.
This was a very surprising result, and not to say that Delta couldn't beat Heritage, because they are a good team that took their lumps in the Hoosier Heritage Conference, which is an underrated conference in the middle of the state. But the fact that Heritage just were down 28-0 before they even scored in this game, and you felt like a senior-laden team like the Patriots could go on the road and have a good performance against a good opponent. And they didn't last night. They came out and were dominated from the jump. And I mean, that's the most surprising thing, not the fact that Heritage lost, but in the manner they lost, similar to Columbia City, was this was supposed to be a team that was led by upperclassmen, and they'd be ready to play. And, looking at this last opportunity to make some noise in the postseason as seniors, and they just go out with a whimper with a 40-point loss. It was just very, very surprising, but credit to Delta. Their reward is going to undefeated Mississinawa next week in the other semifinal in sectional 28.
Yes, Mississinawa gave up 3 points last night, too, to Oak Hill. Wow.
Yeah, they're struggling.
28-3 was the score. But, yes, that will be 5-5 Delta at 10-0 Mississinawa. Heading to Class 2A, Churubusco gets a big 42-23 win over Manchester. Churubusco now 5-5 on the season after that slow start. Their reward, they get Adams Central 35-7 over Bluffton in convincing fashion for the Flying Jets over the Tigers. But Adams Central now 9-1 and Busco 5-5.
It's a good performance by Busco. Manchester's an improved program, and it's a good road win for Churubusco last night. As you mentioned, their reward now is going to Monroe next week. The first rule of having any chance at beating Adams Central is you have to limit the run game. Mm-hmm. And Bluffton couldn't. 297 yards on the ground for Adams Central last night. It sounds simple, but it's not. In terms of limiting that rushing attack, Jamison Roach, 114 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Matt Heiser, 2 touchdowns as well. Bluffton has now lost, I believe, 16 straight to Adams Central in the series. It's just a lopsided series right now. AC moves on for another sectional championship, depending on what happens the next couple weeks.
Lower part of the bracket had Eastside beating Whitco 35-7. Eastside now 5-5 will face Prairie Heights in the second round. Prairie Heights a 26-14 winner over Central Noble, and I believe Central Noble ended their season without a win as well. So should be, Adams Central, obviously the class. Everybody else that's left is 5-5.
Everybody 500, and Adams Central sitting there. Congratulations to Prairie Heights, by the way, getting the win, getting the 5 wins. The first time they've won 5 or more in a season since 2013, so it's been 11 years since they've done that. Just a good season for Coach McCray's team. Got off to a 3-1 start, shuffled a little bit in the middle of the season, but got a couple wins late and going to Central Noble, beat them for the second time this year to advance in the sectional.
Now moving on to Class 1A, Sectional 43. The Triton Trojans beat Southwood 49-7. Triton will now face winless Southern Wells next week. Southern Wells had the bye into second round play. And then North Miami beat Blackhawk Christian 54-14. North Miami, a pretty good team. They're now 8-2 on the season. Fremont, a 35-21 winner over Northfield. Fremont is 4-6 that will take on that North Miami team that advanced with that Blackhawk victory.
It was a fun team, Fremont, and that was kind of a toss-up game last night, whether they could win it or not. And when you look at being able to dominate, late in particular over a Northfield team that is a little down this year, but it's still a challenge to go on the road in the sectional, and Fremont was able to take care of business. And they get to take on North Miami. It's a home game, and talking about wins, I mean, this is the first time that Fremont has had 4 or more wins in 5 years. So it's some of these things for these programs that we don't often talk about that are big benchmarks for these teams, and you don't expect them to make big runs as we go forward. But even one sectional win can mean a whole heck of a lot to a program, and we've seen it. We saw it last night with squads like Prairie Heights and Fremont.
In Class 1A, once again, in Sectional 44, just running down the scores here, Tri beats West Dell 55-0. It was the South Adams Starfires 51-0 over Union City. South Adams, a little uncharacteristic at 5-5, but they'll take on Tri at 7-3 next week, and it looks like South Adams has the home game.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting matchup, I think, because, South Adams, it's been a bit of a challenging season for them. Injuries have been a big deal for them. And so, just the opportunity for them to get some added playing time is going to be big for some younger kids. But that game's going to be at home, I believe. So it should be a really potential good matchup for South Adams. I mean, can they get a win? Could they have an opportunity to play Madison Grant, state-ranked Madison Grant in the sectional final? South Adams, they're not their usual dynamic self. We usually talk about South Adams throwing the ball over the field and, putting up big numbers. I mean, it's not that kind of team. It's just more of a grinder type team, type squad. They're not going to out-athleticize a lot of teams, but they're going to go out and play hard, and they have enough skill to and execution to be able to beat a fair amount of teams in 1A. They've done it once. They'll try to do it again next week when they take on Tri.
Yes. And in the bottom part of the bracket, it was Madison Grant, as you mentioned, state ranked, now 9-1 after their 38-7 victory over Monroe Central. And then Hagerstown 40-0 over Cambridge City. Hagerstown 4-6 will be the home team against Madison Grant. So we will see what transpires there. Now, just real quick, 5A, 6A, and 6A, we've got Snyder and Elkhart going at it on Friday, and they have, 3 combined losses between them?
Yeah, that's an interesting game. I think a lot of people are saying, we're looking forward to that Snyder-Carroll rematch. Elkhart is no joke. I mean, they're ranked in Class 6A. They're very, very, very good. And their lone loss is week 1 by 1 point to the number 1 ranked team in Class 5A in Concord. Mm-hmm. And so, they've beaten Penn. They've beaten, Mishawaka Marion, who's a little down this year. But they have some big wins. Beating New Prairie was a big win for Elkhart. This is a big challenge for Snyder. So anybody looking forward to Snyder-Carroll sectional championship game, you better educate yourself on Elkhart because that's going to be a tremendous challenge for Snyder.
Yes, and Carroll will have Northrop next week as well in that 4-team sectional number 2. Now in sectional 4, it's Fishers and Noblesville at the top part of the bracket. Fishers 5-4, Noblesville 2-7. Then Hamilton Southeastern 6-3 will meet Homestead, who enter into play at 5-4.
Just a tough matchup, tough sectional for Homestead. We said it from the jump when the draw came out, when the sectional assignments came out, with Homestead going south with 3 Indy teams. I mean, Hamilton Southeastern, the last game they played, they knocked off the number 1 team in 6A in Brownsburg to end the regular season. You know, Noblesville sitting there with 2 wins all year, one of them against Homestead in convincing fashion by 43 points. So it's just tough for Homestead. I mean, this is not a team that is built to compete with those teams, let alone beat them. It's going to take a very flat performance by Hamilton Southeastern and a very good performance by Homestead for that one to be close next week.
And moving over to Class 5A in Sectional 11, you talked about Concord. They are unbeaten, and they will take on the Northside Legends at Chambers Field.
Northside gets Concord at home. That's beneficial, but Concord is no joke, and they're not some rural team that's beating up on small opponents. I mean, this team rolled the Northern Lakes Conference, which is an underrated league with the likes of Warsaw and Mishawaka and a rebounding Plymouth program and Northwood, and they are very good. Craig Kohler has done a tremendous job building this program up, and it's a premier team and undefeated. So Northside gets them at home. Warsaw will get winless Goshen at home next week as well. So it could be a Northern Lakes Conference showdown for the sectional championship, and Northside's going to do everything it possibly can to hang close with Concord. The problem is just how good the Minutemen are.
Yes, indeed. So those are the games for next week as well after the first round of play through the first 4 classes, and Class 5A and 6A will get rolling next week. Justin, Kenny, thank you so much for joining us this morning, getting up early and imparting your wisdom on our listeners. And you're working too, right?
I am. I'm over at the Ash Center right now. I'm going to head over to Plex North in a couple hours. A big day full of our evaluations for our recreational league. Over 300 kids in our winter rec league, most we've ever had. It's going to be a lot of fun today and throughout the winter season with these kiddos on Saturdays.
And what age does that start?
We go 7 and 8 is the earliest we go, and it goes all the way up to ages 13 and 14. So just a lot of fun. We stress the recreational part. So many leagues out there are ultra serious and ultra competitive, and we stress just the recreational. I mean, the goal is with our program is we want every child to leave our program loving the game of football as much, if not more, than when they came in. So you don't want to be the responsible party for a bad experience for a kid to fall out of love of football, and that's the top priority.
That is right. You got to nurture that love of the sport. Well, Justin, thank you, and we'll talk to you next week.
Let's do it, boys. Have a good weekend.
All right. That was Justin Kenny from OPS and OutsideTheHuddle.net in our weekly recap of high school football. And as we go forward, lose and go home, pack the equipment away. So I want to give a shout-out to my grandson, Caleb, who woke up early this morning just to tune into the show. So I took him to lunch yesterday. That's what it takes.
Okay, so that's the least he could do then.
Yeah. Well, I took him to Taco Bell.
Oh, okay.
So, but nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean, food is food.
Introduced him to the fire sauce too.
There you go.
He liked it.
Well, shout out to Caleb.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and step out, take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking to Mike McCaffrey, the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar Chat, and then we'll be talking to Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of the Fort Wayne Komets, after the K's had their home opener last night against Cincinnati and beat the Cyclones 5-4. And I got some questions for him. So we'll talk to Shane after we talk to Mike. But Cougs got a big game today at Marion, so we'll talk to Mike all about that as well. You're listening to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
How do you thank the people that add so much to our lives? How do you celebrate a community that brings out the best in all of us? You give back. In 2022, McMahon's Best One gave more than $100,000 to local organizations that are always there to lift us up, to listen, to strengthen us, every one of us. Throughout the year, McMahon's Best One will continue to give back to the community that has given so much to us, bringing out the best in each other, together.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to HIMSS.com/joy. That's HIMSS.com/joy for your free online visit.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Call today for your complimentary free consultation. 800-402-7914. 800-402-7914. 800-402-7914. That's 800-402-7914.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 260-333-9383. That's 260-333-9383. 260-333-9383.
Attention homeowners, are you tired of paying too much on your energy bills? Over 90% of homes likely need more insulation. It's time you discovered Koala Insulation, a premier insulation contractor. Koala's team can give you a free insulation evaluation. There's no obligation. It's one of the best home improvement returns on investments you can make. And then you can start saving money for years to come. So be sure to book your appointment for a free insulation evaluation online at koalainsulation.com.
At Prestige Heating and Air, your independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, we put your comfort first. How confident are you that your furnace is ready to keep you and your family comfortable this winter? Instead of crossing your fingers and hoping for the best, contact Prestige. Whether you need a new system or a tune-up, our experienced team is ready to help. As your independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, we pride ourselves on top-notch service and products. Visit PrestigeHeatandCooling.com. That's PrestigeHeatandCooling.com.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Always got to wait for that drum to come in. Hey, wait a minute. You know who's on the Talkin Sports phone line, powered by McMahon's Best One, don't you, DC?
I think I do. I hope so.
Oh, usually...
Hope I got the right person.
Usually lately, you and he have been collaborating on, kind of his welcome music.
Yeah, I turned my back on them this week.
Ooh, you went over you completely went way over my head last week. I had no idea who it was, and that doesn't usually happen.
I wish Mike could have seen your face when he mentioned the Pearl Jam song. Sometimes I wish we were on TV.
Oh, but it's better that we're not. Let's go to the Talkin Sports phone line, powered by Fire Police City County Federal Credit Union, because on there, Mike, I apologize for the Boston as opposed to Pearl Jam, but that was a World Series Red Sox reference. Yeah, that's it.
There you go. Yeah, they're a long way from the World Series these days, but
well, he's still got Mookie.
It just pains you to watch pinstripes playing for a title, so I don't even know that I'm going to watch any of the World Series this year.
Oh. Well, I got home last night, and Diane and I watched, and boy, I'll tell you what a great game. And then had to culminate in the 10th inning with Freddie Freeman just demolishing a pitch, first pitch, bases loaded, storybook ending. And but I hope there's 6 more games like this with all that excitement, all that intrigue, because baseball needs it. And of course, with all the star power that's on the field, and I know you're being a Red Sox fan.
The Red Sox should get a ring if L.A. wins because we handed them Mookie Betts.
That's
right?
true, yeah.
You would think that there would be some considerations later down the line, and thanks coming to Boston for allowing Mookie Betts to just walk over to L.A. and continue to be the superstar that he is. Doogie was one of my favorite players on the Red Sox last year, and now he's playing for the Yankees, but I'll never expect anything from the Yankees. But I would think the Dodgers may send some flowers or something over to Boston, given how great Mookie Betts has continued to be.
Mike, if it only worked that way.
No, yep, you ain't lying.
Hey, let's talk Cougar sports. The Cougar football team now 5-2 by virtue of that big victory over Judson last week on the road, 49-20, and of course, to go along with their perfect home record of 4-0, got their first road win and at a great time, because now they're walking into St. Vincent Field in Indy to take on Marion today.
Yeah, good win last week to get a good start on our division side of our matchups. So last week was the first Midwest League game that we have. So these are the ones that really, really count. So always good to be 1-0 in your division after the first weekend. And now we've got the 3-game gauntlet of Marion, St. Francis, Illinois, and St. X. And so our division and that automatic berth to the NAIA playoffs is going to be settled here over the next few weeks. And if we can go take care of business today and beat our rival down in Indianapolis, then that'll put us in a good spot at 2-0. And St. Francis, Illinois beat St. X last week, so St. X already has a loss in the division. So it's starting to shake out a little bit, starting to see kind of what the path is going to be. But we haven't had as much luck against Marion in the last few years as we probably would like. I think the last regular season game that we beat them was 2017. So it's been a long time coming. We want to go down there and get that Franciscan Bowl trophy and bring it back to Fort Wayne. But we know their coach well, Ted Karras. He was with us a couple of years ago and then went back to be the head coach down at Marion. So a lot of familiarity, a lot of I would say, a lot of respect between the two programs for sure. Early on in the history of these two teams, it may have been a little more chippy and a little more, outside the lines than you would like. But I think with these two coaches and the respect they have for each other, it's going to be a nice, clean, good football game. And whoever can limit the turnovers and probably control the ball on the ground a little bit is going to probably walk out of there with a win.
We're talking this morning with Mike McCaffrey, athletic director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar chat. And yes, now with the divisional games now at hand, how heavily is that weighted, I guess, for the potential for either a bid or an at-large bid in the NAIA tournament?
Yeah, so, whoever wins our division gets an automatic bid. So there's, I think, 13 automatic bids out there for the NAIA, and then 20 teams total get in. For us, it would be hard to get an at-large bid, given that we're not even receiving votes right now because of the two losses that we have, and the Taylor loss is going to probably look worse as the year goes on because I think they've lost their top 2 quarterbacks and probably aren't going to be as competitive as they were when we played them. I know they got beat pretty good by Indiana Wesleyan last week. So the loss to Taylor, while it was not a terrible loss at the time, is probably going to, for lack of better words, look worse to the selection committee down the road. If we win the rest of our games, we're in. We get the automatic berth. We go to the playoffs, and we see where it shakes out. If we don't win the rest of our games, we're probably going to have to beat Marion, beat St. X. If we drop one to one of the 3, I guess we could have a shot, but St. X losing to St. Francis last week kind of knocked them out of the top 25. So we just don't have the ranked opponents ahead of us, with the exception of Marion, to climb up and get a at-large bid. So right now our focus is winning the remaining games, getting that automatic bid, and getting into the playoffs and seeing how it shakes out. But got to win today before any of that can even become a possibility.
You know, and it's interesting. I mean, the offense has garnered most of the attention this season, and rightly so, with Josh Kolka emerging as the leader of that offense. And just as we talked last week, so many weapons, so many receivers, a 3-deep backfield as well. But last week we had a couple of big plays. Nick Nondorf gets an interception return for a touchdown. So does Shamar Smith. So, these guys are playing and being opportunistic and really, giving the offense a little rest.
Yeah, and Nondorf's was crazy. It was about 106 yards. He caught it and picked it off in the opposite end zone and ran it all the way back 106 yards or so for a touchdown. And Shamar's was more of that defensive lineman getting a pick and taking it in. So, yeah, doing it a lot of different ways. Defense has been, as you said, pretty opportunistic. I know we'd like to tighten up a few things, and Judson's a decent team, but we probably didn't think we were going to give up 20 points to them. So I'm sure Nate Jensen is looking at the film and trying to find some areas we can improve on. We, had a few mistakes that gave Judson opportunities. We can't do that today. If we do that to Marion, they're going to take advantage of it and jump on top of you, and it could be a long day. So got to be our cleanest, most disciplined football game today. But yeah, defense is coming along, and then as you said, the offense is putting up points. We just got to, and we feel like if we can keep someone 20 points or below, we got a pretty good shot of winning with our offense. But again, this is a different environment on the road at Marion. It's going to have to be our best game of the year in order for us to keep the prize in our sights.
And of course, men's and women's soccer are taking on Spring Arbor today.
Yeah. Women are at home today at 3. Men are on the road. Women are sitting in a good spot for the conference tournament. Right now, I think they're 5th. I got a couple wins in the conference. There's teams behind us that don't have any, so we've got 2 games left to play. And we've got to keep that position for the women. The men right now are sitting in 9th, just outside of it. We got to get a win today and get them up into the top 8 so they can get into the conference tournament. Just a tough conference every week we play. And last week the men played Marion, who's the best team in the conference right now, and played them at a 2-2 with a minute and a half left, and gave up that go-ahead goal for Marion, beat us 3-2. So they're playing hard, they're playing tough. We're not getting blown out. We're playing really, really good matches. We're just not able to finish, not able to close them out. But on the women's side, even though we've had some tough injuries, they've been battling. And if we can get Grace Hine or Grace Morris or some of these ones back that we haven't been able to have that are key contributors to us, you're talking about all-conference type performers, if we can get them back and before we get into the tournament, that'll be huge. And then, yesterday our cross-country teams went and had a huge run down in Tennessee. Alvin Cater, who broke our school record. And so we've got Alvin, who led them. I think they finished 5th, and then the women finished 7th out of 21 teams down in Tennessee. Really good competition down there. All ran their fastest time. So Coach Moody doing a great job with the cross-country team, as always.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we will talk to you next week. And now, in the meantime, if somebody wants to tune in and listen to Cougar football, how do they do it?
So we're on WGL here locally. They can jump on, I think it's 1250 or 105.5, I think, is the FM part of that, if they want to listen to Joe Parson on the call. And then the game is on the Indiana Sports Channel. That's who broadcasts all the Marion games. There may be a fee to watch it if you wanted to watch it, but it is available online to watch today, or you can listen on the radio.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Mike. Has Joe Parson been broadcasting Cougar football since its inception?
Every game.
Wow.
Every game we've ever played.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, what a professional. And my goodness, and just listening to him and what a great guy, what a great broadcaster. But
he does a great job. We're gonna let that ride as long as we possibly can. He's a dedicated man, and I think Joe should write a book about traveling and setting up radio for road games in the NAIA. 'Cause, we used to joke that he would take a Greyhound to then pick up a train and then jump on a rickshaw and get to whatever school he needed to in the middle of nowhere or Iowa or something, and then there he is popping up, just showing up and being on the radio no matter what it took.
Oh, sure. So, he'd do that because he would broadcast a high school football game on Friday night.
Yep.
And then necessitating him getting his own transportation to the venue. And, oh, my gosh, he's a guy that people should know about. That's for sure.
Yep. No, we love him and every single game, and we're gonna try to keep it going with him.
All right, Mike, we'll talk to you next Saturday.
Thanks, Jim. Have a great weekend. Appreciate it.
All right, that was Mike McCaffrey, athletic director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar Chat. Before we go to break, had a text that came in that says, TS, why are there so many lopsided scores in the first round of sectionals? Well, all I can say is irony, because, it almost looks like it was seeded in some of these sectionals, although it wasn't. But maybe it should, I guess. But, in some of these were big surprises. Like I said, the Dwenger shutout of Columbia City, and then Heritage getting beaten by Delta. And it wasn't a case where Delta was, a one-loss team or an undefeated team or anything like that. But these things happen. That's why they put up a scoreboard and allow fans entrance with admission each week, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to unfold. You never know how games are going to play out. But, there weren't too many close games last night, let's put it that way. So before we go to break, I want to tell you about my friends at Culligan. You have a water softener? Yeah. Oh, it's down in your basement? Oh, it's in the corner right by the sump pit? Yeah, you never touch it, just hear that you need to put salt in there every once in a while. Yeah. Do me a favor. Give Culligan a call, 484-8668. 484-8668, and ask for their water softener tune-up and the inspection. $29.95. They will come out, have a certified professional come out, take a look at your softener. Maybe make a couple little adjustments if needed. If your water is changed over the year, our water changed. We got put on city water. It's a lot better, but it's not completely soft yet. So we continue with the softener. Hey, but they tweaked it a little bit. Very efficient. And if you need a new softener, they'll let you know. If you don't, they'll let you know. They're that kind of professionals, and they're great to work with. Give Culligan a call today, 484-8668. That's 484-8668. Give your people Culligan Water. We'll be right back. Homeowners insurance rate lately? Think it's about time to get a competitive quote? Call the Wise Insurance Agency today at 260-747-5373. Located at 7410 Bluffton Road, Wise Insurance is a local company that's been in business for 25 years. Being an independent agent working with over 15 A-plus rated carriers allows Coach Ron Wise to assess your needs and determine the best option for you to give you maximum coverage with the most affordable premiums. The Wise Insurance Agency also offers motorcycle, RV, and watercraft insurance, as well as renter's insurance, flood, and umbrella policies. Multi-policy discounts are also available, and make sure to ask Ron about the good student discount up to 20%. Let Coach Wise show you the fundamentals of getting the right insurance. Don't put it off. Contact Coach Ron and the Wise Insurance Agency team. Find them online at thewiseinsuranceagency.com.
Get the latest knife info from one of the country's premium knife shops, Blade Man's Knife Shop at the shops of Scott Road. There's a reason customers drive hours just to shop at Blade Man's in Fort Wayne.
Hi, this is Mark, the owner of Blade Man's Knife Shop, and I'd like to personally invite you out to the store to see the area's best selection of quality knives. We have Benchmade, Spyderco, Microtech, ProTech, Hogue, Zero Tolerance, Medford Knife and Tool, ADV Tactical, Tour Knives, and many more. We also have a great selection of custom knives. At Blade Man's, we specifically select top quality products for the best in customer satisfaction. There's a difference with top brands, and at Blade Man's, we'll take the time to explain how materials and production results in a better knife for your needs, all in a relaxed, pressure-free, consultative environment. We update our online inventory daily so you know you're ordering in-stock product that will be shipped within one business day. So check us out on BladeMansKnifeShop.com or stop by the store in the shops at Scout Road and have a cup of coffee on me.
Be in the know and follow Blade Man's on Facebook and Instagram today. 10% discount to police and military, and now you can see the collection of Shun knives, the finest in kitchen cutlery, available at Blade Man's Knife Shop in the shops of Scott Road.
Are you someone that wants to enjoy your sales career? Do you want to represent a product that you truly believe in and have a passion about? Well, since you're currently listening to 1380 The Fan, we can assume that you like this radio station. And if you can understand the importance of connecting local advertisers with a market of passionate listeners and the benefits that that can bring, we'd like to talk to you. You might just be our next sales superstar. Hey, this is Brett Rump. You can come work with me at 1380 The Fan just simply by texting the word winner to 45364. That's winner to 45364. Have a great work-life balance. Enjoy time with your family and begin a new career thoroughly enjoying and having a passion for what you're selling. Text winner to 45364. Just take a moment to take the free talent assessment and discover if you have what it takes to be a star account executive, and you'll even get a free copy of your talent report. 1380 The Fan is proudly part of Federated Media, an equal opportunity employer that values.
Craving something hot and fresh? Penn Station East Coast Subs has always been the go-to for the tastiest hot grilled subs, crispy fresh cut fries, and that oh-so-refreshing fresh squeezed lemonade. But now it's time to take things to the next level. Introducing the all-new Ghost Pepper Cheesesteak. Imagine tender, perfectly grilled steak smothered in melty, gooey ghost pepper cheese that delivers a kick of heat you won't forget. It's bold, it's spicy, and it's only here for a limited time. Not a steak fan? No problem. You can add their fiery ghost pepper cheese twist to your favorite Penn Station sub or wrap. But beware, this one's only for the brave. So why wait? Head over to your nearest Penn Station East Coast Subs today for a bite of pure heat and flavor. Whether you're dining in, taking out, or ordering online, they've got you covered. Visit penn-station.com for easy online ordering and skip the wait. Your order will be ready when you arrive. Ghost pepper cheese. Get it before it vanishes at Penn Station East Coast Subs.
Attention homeowners. Are you tired of paying too much on your energy bills? Over 90% of homes likely need more insulation. It's time you discover Koala Insulation, a premier insulation contractor. Koala's team can give you a free insulation evaluation. There's no obligation. It's one of the best home improvement returns on investments you can make. And then you can start saving money for years to come. So be sure to book your appointment for a free insulation evaluation online at koalainsulation.com.
Your business depends on your trailer. Buy direct where the trailers are made. I-69 Trailer Center carries SureTrack Pro Series trailers, perfect to haul anything up to 17,000 pounds payload. At I-69 Trailer Center, we carry dump trailers, car haulers, trailers for hauling machinery, and contractor trailers. We will service your trailer to keep your business on the road. Made here, serviced here, sold here in Markle, right under the water tower. Just like the name says, I-69 Trailer Center.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. Along with DC Hendricks, I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in as we're talking local sports of all sorts until the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. And then we give way to Fighting Irish Preview with the Judge Phil Houck and Tim Priester. And they will give you all the info on the upcoming Notre Dame Navy game that starts at noon in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And that's all well and good. But, hey, how about those Komets? 3-0 now. Got the win on home ice last night. And on the Talkin Sports phone line, powered by Fire Police City County Federal Credit Union, is the play-by-play voice of the Fort Wayne Komets, Mr. Shane Albahrani. Shane, good morning. Or would it be better to call everybody Alex this morning, because if your name was Alex, you had a heck of a night for the Komets.
Yeah, you did. Alex Swetlikoff and Alex Albahrani, they put up some numbers last night, didn't they?
7 points between them, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a crazy night. But Alex Swetlikoff was just sent down from Bakersfield right before the game. And, man, if he keeps doing that, I'm not sure if we're going to have him much longer.
Maybe we need to change his name so he'll stick, I don't know, so that so that Bakersfield won't want him back. But last night in front of 8,025, the Komets get off on the right foot. Looked like a very contentious game against the Cyclones. And, in fact, even at the 20-minute mark of the third period, there were some penalties doled out.
Yeah. No, it was, Cincinnati, they're a physical team. So we knew they were going to come out, especially since we'd won 2 in a row and they had lost their first game. So we knew they were going to come out, with some fight in them, and they did. And it was a pretty physical game to the very end. And, of course, we play these guys an awful lot, mostly here at the Coliseum. So, they wanted to get their licks in early, and turns out we just were one better than them last night.
So, I know, Shane, it's early. It's a long season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But what are you seeing in this 24-25 version of the Fort Wayne Komets that perhaps, fans didn't see last year?
Well, there's obviously a lot more experience on this team, so there's no panic in the team. So when they got down opening night in Iowa, down 4-1, it really felt like they were going to come back. And I had that sense too, where last year I wouldn't have had that sense, but even at 4-1, I was like, it's halfway through the second period, we got this, and ended up winning at 6-5. So I very much get that feeling. There's so much leadership and so many veterans and guys who have been around the block. So I think no game is out of reach, no matter how far if you fall behind. So that's the big thing. It's more confidence than anything else.
We're talking this morning with Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of the Fort Wayne Komets, in our weekly Komet Chat. And, of course, the win last night runs the Komets record to 3-0, and they've got Kalamazoo coming in tonight for a 7:30 face-off. What do we know about the Wings this season?
The Wings, they have just one win under the belt. It was against Cincinnati, and this is a team that they kind of struggled a little bit recruiting. They didn't really start signing guys until much later in the season and then in the off season. So it'll be interesting to see what they have. They managed to get quite a bit of help down from Abbotsford and a couple guys from Vancouver as well. So they're kind of a heavy affiliated team, kind of like what the Komets were last year with Bakersfield and Edmonton. So, we really don't know until we really drop the puck tonight.
And, of course, you talk about the affiliations, and there were some in the past that thought that the affiliation kind of hampered the K's with call-ups and injuries up above and such. But how do you see that? And I know you don't have a crystal ball, but are we better suited to accommodate if and when that happens?
Yeah, Bakersfield it's been a lot better actually, because Bakersfield and Edmonton, they want their players playing, and in years past, you've had teams where they call up somebody and they just sit in the stands or they're on the bench and they're not playing, and that's what the frustrating thing is. But this organization wants their players playing, so if you know that you get called up, you know that there's a need. And also, what people don't understand when it comes to getting affiliated guys is that we have a salary cap. And when you play an affiliated guy, it doesn't count nearly as much against the salary cap as it does against an ECHL contracted guy. So you want those guys. So it was a big deal to get Alex Swetlikoff down because we had no affiliated forwards. And that turned into a bit of an issue opening weekend in Iowa because, we're over the cap. So, you had to do some adjusting there. And that's when you see, like, hey, why is he not playing tonight? Well, we're over the salary cap tonight, so someone's got to sit down. So, so that the affiliated players now just help you on the ice, but they also help you, up in the salary cap.
See, and these are the things that, let's say, the casual fan doesn't understand and won't realize that there's usually a reason when players are scratched and healthy scratches and such, because there's more to it and there's more behind the scenes than what goes on. So when if fans weren't able to make it out last night or coming out tonight, what can they expect at the Coliseum under the? Now, I understand, are the helmets now orange?
They were orange last night. I believe we're wearing the blackout jerseys tonight, so I think they'll probably go back to black. So the orange buckets were something new and something special. I think we'll just be doling out throughout the season. But tonight it's kids seat free night. You can get a free kids ticket with an adult ticket purchase. And it's also the Halloween costume parade, another tradition that we do here in Fort Wayne. So dress up in your Halloween costume and you get out on the ice during the first intermission. Always a lot of fun. I know DC's got his Wonder Woman cape sitting on the chair there.
Spying on me or something?
Well, no, you brought it in, and
I was trying to hide it.
You look like you were dancing across the stage when you walked in. Yeah. Anyway.
Does he have his golden lasso with him? Because that's all that really matters.
Oh, so you saw the pictures too. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, Shane, thank you so much for joining us early this morning, and we'll talk to you next Saturday.
Thanks, Jimmy.
All right. That was Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of the Fort Wayne Komets in our weekly Komets chat. And if you could see the looks I'm getting from Mr. Hendricks, yipes. Hey, many thanks to Justin Kinney of OPS and OutsideTheHuddle.net for joining us and recapping high school football. Always thanks to Mike McCaffrey, athletic director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar chat. And also thanks to Shane Albahrani for joining us bright and early after a late night for him as well. Speaking of late nights, thanks to DC Hendricks, who ran everything so smoothly last night for high school football, then comes right back in here in the morning and takes care of things, running the board so smoothly for us and doing everything behind the scenes. We appreciate that as well. Thanks to you, the listener. Thanks for the text. Hey, all of that. So, until next week, have a great week, everybody.
Podcasts by Federated Media.